Hello world.
One, two, three, and four. Count what you have now. Don't count what you don't have. Count what you have now. Don't count what you don't have.
Hello, y'all. Welcome. I'm so excited to be here with y'all. We have a really excited stream planned for today, talking about how unique restrictions create unique projects. This is, I think, my favorite stream that I'm doing this week. Well, this is the end of the week for me. I'm not doing any more streams after this. But it is saving the best for last. The one I'm most excited for. Hello. Hi 404. Hi Shem. Hi Thinkverse. We're just going to be vibing, hanging out. I have a bunch of different ideas of fun ways that you can, spice up your coding projects, make them a little bit more interesting, challenging, all those different things. For those of you who have not been to one of my streams before, hello. I'm Dimmer. I use they, them pronouns. Hello. Also, when this icon right here is on, and it almost always is, it means that you can use the exclamation point TTS command, no, it is an MLH hoodie, to have your chat message read out loud by a text-to-speech bot. So, you can use that. We also have custom emotes running using the 7TV extension. If you have that, you can use them. If you don't, I recommend you install. A lot of different streams use it. No big deal, though. Cool jacket, thank you. It even says Coach on the sleeve. It's very cool. Hello. 404. Again, you changed 404. You've talked about this before, about changing the color of your name just to mess with people. You changed it again, I noticed. I've been on the road for 15 hours straight. I hope you, when you say that, you don't mean that you're driving right now. Hey, Ralph. Nice to see you back. Hey Bartik, welcome. It's always nice seeing some first-time chatters here. Kareem Syed as well, first-time chat. Hello, welcome. Shraddha, hello. We're just giving people a couple minutes to come on by. Can you share this playlist? Can I? So this song is Count What You Have Now by Vantage. Oh my goodness, 404, you changed the name color again in between messages. I'm underage, I can't drive, nor do I know how to. Okay. I assumed as much, but I figured I'd ask. So the problem is deranged for absolutely deranged. The problem is that this playlist is on my personal Spotify. So if I share this playlist, y'all have my personal Spotify, including all of my personal playlists. So I don't feel comfortable with that. But while we're waiting for people to trickle in, I'm going to see if I can find a way to anonymize it. Yes. Okay. I'm going to drop a link in chat. That is an anonymized version of the playlist. Most of these songs are stolen from Ludwig Ogren's stream playlists from way back when. I believe he's changed how he does his music for streaming, but just want to cite my sources. Okay. With that, we're like 5 minutes into it. Everyone who wants to be here should be here by now. My internet here is so bad I can't post messages. I mean, you're doing quite a good job thus far with both posting messages and switching the color in between, which I know usually is like another command that you need to drop in chat, so. Okay. With that, let's get into our main topic today, which is, again, how unique restrictions create unique projects. And in essence, the reason why I want to talk about this is because I know that I personally got really stuck in a rut when I was doing hackathons, because I got to a point where I had a set of skills that I knew how to use, that I was using every weekend. And at first, there, like, again, a learning curve where, like, it was my first hackathon, everything was new, and it was fun, but it was really overwhelming. And then I was like, hey, okay, I know some tools, I know Bootstrap, and now I've been sending over 20 to 30 and only 1 to 2 show up. I mean, 404, there's a little bit of a person who cried wolf here going on in chat, where you are a little bit of a prankster, a little bit of a trickster, but I believe you there. Seems like we're getting the important ones, though. Oh, okay. So starting out hackathons, everything's really difficult, and then you start getting more and more experience. And I'm like, oh, I learned Bootstrap. Okay, now I learned React, and now I learned Flutter. And then I got to a point where, hey, I know all of these things. I have all of these skills. This is great. I'm all set. And I just kept reusing the skills over and over again, which is fine. But I wasn't really expanding past what I had already done. I was just kind of like reheating and recycling things that I had already done for new projects and new hackathons, which again is valid. But I lost a lot of the fun and enjoyment that I had. So that was a thing that I experienced, which I'm pretty sure that other people experienced too, where some of that excitement and fun of like trying new things and having new challenges can go away once you get more experienced. I'm going to switch from my exciting hype up music to my we're vibing with some lo-fi music. This is way too low energy. Let's try this. Let's try some chill step instead. Okay. So you fall into that rut where you have the experience, you have the knowledge, you can reuse these tools, and you're like growing this library of things that you've done before, code that you can reuse, knowledge that you can use. And that's great, and that's really useful, and it allows you to do things a lot faster and make some really cool things. And also, I think there's a specific like fun in being that little bit of overwhelmed and like trying to do the new things and face the new challenges. So this stream is about how we can like facilitate creating that sort of environment for you, again, if you've gotten to the point where you feel sorry, I just got really distracted there by noticing that 404 is really keeping up with this bit, which I applaud. Commit to the bit of changing the name, and I'm just wondering if they have a script or an extension that's doing it for them, or if they are sending these messages every time. What do I mean? Okay. So, just looking at my notes here. You have known languages and tools. You have become comfortable with like templates, like Create React app. Okay. The other thing that I want to talk about is modern development environments are wonderful because they have very few restrictions in them, which is great. And also, sometimes restrictions can be really fun. We talked about this on another stream. There is an instrument, a tool, a hardware digital audio workstation called the OP1, and it is made by a company called Teenage Engineering. And we talked about it because it has a cult following and also is extremely expensive. But there are certain artists who swear by it, who say that it has revolutionized their way of creating music and all of these things. And the reason why is because it imposes restrictions, where if you have a powerful modern computer, and practically all computers nowadays are powerful, you can do almost anything with very little need to like optimize and things like that, if you're just trying to create something functional in like a hackathon environment. And that's another thing that like you can add those restrictions back and maybe get some enjoyment from it, depending on what you enjoy with computer science and what you enjoy with solving problems. So all of these things that I've talked about are amazing for productivity. Having tools that you use, having experience, all of that is great for being able to write more code. No comment. 404. No comment. But it might not be for fun. I'm curious, it sounds like you are committed to projects for hackathons. Are you also planning to apply this as a model for real life situations? I'm both new to development and also to hackathons. So, okay, let me take a step back, because that's a really good question, Linoodles, or Little Noodles. Little Noddles? Sorry. The way that I'm thinking about this week is there are going to be, Lyra is fine. Great, thank you. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to be able to tell you a whole bunch of things about how to create code in a professional setting, how to get a job, how to start your career. And I'm not a career computer scientist. I'm a person who likes to make projects and solve problems and mess around with streaming stuff. And like, I enjoy working with technology, but I'm not trying to be a career computer scientist. So there are all these people who can tell you all of that this week. I'm not the person to be able to do that. So what I'm trying to focus on this week is, okay, you have your career plan. You know all of the things that you want to do. Maybe you don't have to, but if you do have that, how can we balance that and have some fun? Because I know most people, I at least hope a lot of people, got into computer science because they enjoyed some part of it. I know that some people are in it purely for the career, but generally when I talk to people in the MLH community, they enjoy some process of writing code. But that can kind of be lost when you are trying to get that job. So I'm talking specifically about hackathon projects and personal projects in this instance, because those are the places where I think you can inject that fun. Where if you are doing work in the real world, as you put it, you want to make sure that your code is like, you can write productive code and you can write code that is clean and usable for the future and things like that. What I'm going to be talking about here is like, what if we go back in time and write code for retro systems? And what if we add weird restrictions and challenges to our projects? That doesn't really make sense when you are trying to write something for production, but it can make a lot of sense when you're just trying to write something for fun. So hopefully that answered your question there. Thank you for the follow, Fun Overlord. Okay. Feel free to continue asking questions, y'all. Hey, thank you for the follow, Bartik. We're going to start with when I interviewed a Google developer. He told me about their hiring process, where they value troubleshooting and innovation over knowing how to write Java, for example. So this is valuable. I am so glad that you have that specific example. I'll come back to this. Thank you for the follow, XMercuryX and Kareem Syed. Thank you. Yes, so this is a thing that we talked about on Sunday on my last stream. We talked about the idea of creating small personal projects that you would use in your own life. And my thesis there was that it would help with burnout because you feel passionate about the thing that you're making rather than just making it for the sake of like interviews and portfolios and things like that. And also that when you are asked in an interview, What have you made? Can you tell me about a time that you need to troubleshoot a problem? If you are talking about the way that you made your fish tank into a smart home fish tank, you are more passionate about that, and that passion shows to the people that are interviewing you, as opposed to just saying, I made a Reddit clone, and look at this, I used all these databases and these tools, and look at all the ways that I'm proficient, which is good, and you need to be proficient to have a job, obviously, but you can show that passion and that interest. So the fact that you heard that from a Google developer makes a lot of sense, and actually makes me really happy. Learning Java is the constant process of dies slow. Oh, that's a lot of learning to code, but we're going to talk about the fun things. And the thing that I'm going to start with is, so this is one of the things that I stumbled across on the first time, like kind of the first time that I was learning to code, and it is called code golfing. And some of y'all might have experienced this. Some of you might not have. I'm going to set up screen sharing. So this is the Code Golf Stack Exchange, which is, for those of you who don't know, Stack Exchange is like the parent company. Oh, I wanted to see here, theoretically. Yes, okay. It is the parent company that is like the higher level board or whatever that contains a whole bunch of things, including Stack Overflow. So if I find it on here, I might have already passed it. Wait, no, I have not. I theoretically know the order of the alphabet. Here we go. Stack Overflow is going to be around here somewhere. Here we go. Stack Overflow is on Stack Exchange. So Stack Exchange is like the parent company, parent website, and Stack Overflow is a part of this. And on here is Code Golf and Coding Challenges, which you can see is an active community, which is wonderful. And if I'm going to see if I can log into my account and show some of the things that I did years and years ago without doxing myself. Always the fine line that you're going along on stream. Hey! Okay, this is actually perfect. So there's this post right here. Return the closest prime number that was asked 4 years, 7 months ago. Challenge. This is a simple one. Given a positive integer of up to 1 million, return the closest prime number. If the number itself is prime, then you should return that number. If there are two primes equally close to the provided number, return the lower of the two. Input is in the form of a single integer, and output should be in the form of an integer as well. I don't care how you take in the input, function, standard in, etc., or display the output, function, standard out, etc., as long as it works. This is a code golf, so standard rules apply. The program with the least bytes wins. So this is the post that I'm using to explain what code golfing is, which in golf, the idea is that you're trying to get a ball into the hole in the lowest number of strokes or times that you hit the ball. And in this case, we're taking that and saying that the lowest number of bytes that you use to write your program is the winning piece of code in this like mini competition. And in this case, we have our example test cases where if you input 80 into this piece of code, which could be a function, but we'll talk about why it isn't always a function. If we input 80, we're supposed to get out 79, 100, 101, 5 to 5, 9 to 7, 532 to 523, 1 to 2. Now, if we scroll down, I wonder who asked this question. Why am I using this as an example? So this is a thing that I did because I was a part of this community, not super actively, but semi-actively around this time, 4 years and 7 months ago. And you'll notice that it was modified 3 months ago. People can like add things and modify to the questions to make them better, because as you'll notice that this was the first question that I asked. So there's a lot of edit history of making it more clear, but there are a bunch of answers here. And the reason why I was able to pull this up is because August 12th of this year, someone wrote a solution for this in Thuno. I don't know how to pronounce this programming language too, where they solved this problem in 4 bytes. Just want to show this is the challenge. Return the closest prime number to an integer that you are given, and a solution that was written. I cannot find music that is the right vibe for right now. Because that is not the right vibe. Okay. We're back to the old classic of lo-fi. But this answer, August 12th, to a question that was posted 4 years ago, is 4 bytes. But I believe there is a lower one. Let's see if we take a look. Here is, in JavaScript, 53 bytes. 5 bytes. Here we go, Gaia, 3 bytes. Yeah, just letting this sink in. In 3 bytes, 3 characters, they've solved this problem. Japped 5 bytes. But also, you'll notice that there are people who are writing this in real programming languages. So Python, 71 bytes. 4 bytes, 5 bytes. C in 72 bytes. Perl in 35. Python in 96. C# in 100. Java in 87. So yeah. So I'm going to, let me actually just drop this link in chat. So if y'all want to take a look at it, you can. Because yeah, I was kind of scrolling fast there. Because the point of this was I was not looking for you to like see how people are doing this, but just that they are. And really, the reason why is that this is a vibrant community of people who are constantly doing this. They have a chat room called the 19th Hole, which is a pun on, or the 19th Byte, I believe. Yeah, the 19th Byte. That is a pun on a game of golf has 18 holes, and the 19th hole is when you get drinks with friends. So the 19th Byte is the place where people hang out and talk about this. So there's a lot to learn. It's a vibrant community. And also, it's just wild. It is just absolutely wild. And it's a fun, different way of thinking about programming. So, there are like 2 things here. Where we have, first of all, you can see that there is the 3-byte answer, which is in Gaia. Which, yeah, what kind of language is Gaia? That is the exact thing that we're going to talk about. It is an isolang. So if I have a link in my notes. For the isolang wiki. And an isolang is around esoteric or esoteric. I don't remember how that's, where you put the emphasis on which syllable. But it is a wiki dedicated to fostering documentation of programming languages designed to be unique, difficult to program in, or just weird. So we can search on here for Gaia. What? Let's look at the language list. I could have sworn that Gaia would be on here. It is not. Okay, that's a shame. Let's take a look at O5AB1E. Here we go, O5AB1E. Let's get an example of this. Let's actually, wait, what if I were to go into reading mode? Would that make this easier? Yes, it does. Great, okay. So O5AB1E is a stack-based programming language invented by PPCG, which I believe it's something code golf. I thought I knew what that stood for. But it is very popular for making golfed programs. This is a dedicated language designed for this task, where you can see basic syntax. Where's hello world? Okay. So hello world can be displayed like this, where the quote has it print to standard out, or you can golf it down to this. This is hello world right here. Let me zoom in. That's hello world. These languages are specifically designed to like do weird specific things. So a cat program is an example here of like a type of challenge that you might be given, which is to copy its standard input to its standard output. And if you were given that, like, this is, let me rephrase, it's not necessarily a challenge, because it's fairly easy to do that. You just create a function that takes an input and you return what you are given. But you can see all of the different ways that people have gone around doing this and the ways that it is like built into programming languages. So if we just continue to go down the language list, you can find, there was a really cool one that was based around the path that a ball would take bouncing around a maze. Oh my goodness, wait, I just saw. There's Among Us script. And I don't even know how to pronounce this. Among Us is a big... Anyway, there's also emoji language, not to mention the infamous brainfuck, which I can say because it is a proper noun. It is the name of a programming language that is designed to mess with you. But the idea of this language is for it to look like the chat in an Among Us game. So, guys, I can vouch player is value, where sets variable player to integer value. Player can vouch go and tell them come on, which prints ASCII character of the ID of the variable player's value. Player is just like sussy player, sets player's value to that of sussy player. You can see the ways in which this is absolutely deranged and also super fun. And again, code golfing is an interesting challenge, and you can choose to use a language like this, which is absolutely deranged. There are multiple Among Us programming languages. This is golden. I think you've shown this to us before too. I have. This is a thing that I love talking about because it is, again, returning that fun to computer science. There's a lot of swearing in the names of these. And there are a lot more of these than when I did it before. This is a growing community. And I think there was one that had Minecraft in here. No Minecraft. Okay. There was one. The name of this programming language is an image. Wait. What? Okay. I just became literally speechless there because this esoteric programming language, which is officially on the wiki, the syntax is based on this person's
absolutely deranged mad lads.
Absolute mad lads. This person's like Squishmallows, it looks like, where Archie is the print function, the pink cheetahs are the memory slot, where Pippin, the rainbow pumpkin, is the input function. Chicken is the store of the value of the memory slot. When you put one pink cheetah in front of Pippin, the input is stored. Lomo, the green axolotl, is a special plushie. When you put it in front of a command, it only runs the command when the pink cheetah is equal to Monica, a purple axolotl. Every small plushie except the pink cheetahs, and Burger can be used as values. So, Hello World. To write Hello World in this programming language, it uses Mexica, the Italian-looking food plushie, to represent Hello World, and it is set on top of... Wait. Yes, it is set on top...
That's no syntax. That's an IOI problem.
It's deranged, but wonderful. This is like a great example. There's one that... Oh, okay, I'm just going to Google this. Found it. Hexagony. Hexagony is a two-dimensional programming language developed by Martin Ender To the best use of the author's knowledge, it is the first ever 2D language where the instruction pointer moves on a hexagonal grid. Furthermore, the memory layout also resembles a separate hexagonal grid. The name is a portmanteau of hexagon and agony because I expect programming in it to be quite painful. So I'm going to move out of this so you can see. This is what Hello World looks like in this programming language, where it needs to be written inside of a hexagon. This seems like an archive of various applications of functional context-free grammars. Do they differ significantly in ability? So if you're talking about there are a bunch of different, to go back to here, there are a bunch of different languages like Gaia. Let's look at not something that was made 4 years ago. Let's get say what you see. So, also, a lot of what this uses is for the online encyclopedia of integer sequences. So you say like, oh, taking this integer sequence and doing something with it. Integers. Yes. Sorry. Trying to read chat and finish my thought. Let's try finding. So CJAM in this case, as a programming language that I'm like 99% sure is written explicitly for code golfing. Where the goal is to allow you to do this. There isn't a super functional use for using CJAM in the real world. It is just used for, in essence, like the history of this is the people were doing this with like regular programming languages. And then someone was just like, wait a sec, what if I create my own language? And I'm like, aha, well, take a look at this. Like all of a sudden this programming language does it the fastest because I just made it. So there is a rule that you cannot use a programming language that was created after the question was asked, because people would just create a programming language where like you type one letter and the programming language does exactly what the question is asking. So that is a thing. But let me read. This seems like an archive of various applications of functional context-free grammar. They differ significantly in ability. Different languages do not differ significantly in ability. Some of them differ in function. To talk about brainfuck. It describes it as like a grid of tape, and you can use different values in the tape and you're advancing back and forth on the tape. And a lot of different languages use that idea and similar things. But there are also things like hexagony, which I was talking about, which take that idea and go really far with it. And I'll see if I can scroll down and find a better example. So no, they don't have any more. I want to show more code because in essence what it is it like the like pointer like follows a like somehow, I don't remember. I was really looking into this at one point. It follows like along this hexagon to change variables and display things to the screen. How can you build an esoteric language? I honestly don't know, but that would be a good thing to ask in the 19th byte. Which is this chat room right here, which you can see was active 13:07, 25 minutes ago. So it's still an active community. So you could ask that here. And yeah, people usually just hang out, talk, ask questions. It's very fun. Okay, let me scroll down. Now, don't tell me there's also programming languages written in hieroglyphics. I mean, there might be, and if there's not, you could create it. So to get great unique restrictions, we could cut off our arms and try to code using our nose. Hey, one of the things I want to do is brainstorm fun ideas. So if you think that would be fun, totally. Hey, think first. You can create any other programming language. Crafting Interpreters is a great book to read. It has a free web version. That's really cool. Phasic did a code golf in Rust. Oh, you golfed FizzBuzz, which is a classic problem. I don't know what I'm necessarily looking at, because I don't know where to see your code. Source? Ah. A good code golf. Code golf. Turing compatibility. Yes, thanks for clarifying. Yeah, click source to get to the code. Yeah. So in this case, it looks a little bit less impressive because it is well documented. But Shem, actually, there are people who live with certain disabilities that code with their nose. Yeah. So that is the thing. That there are like, I'm trying to think of how I want to. I guess, like, so the reason, why does the music feel so off today? Yes, there are people who do remarkable things. And I'm not trying to, like, brain trying to process two things at once. It's been a while since I've gotten this stuck. Train of thought. Shem, actually, there are people. Oh, yeah. So the goal is not to, like, deliberately make our lives harder. And, like, coding with your nose, again, not necessarily something that I would recommend. But the idea of, oh, what if I've now talked about code golfing, and I think I've gotten y'all interested in it. I also wanted to mention that one of the reasons that I wanted to talk about this is because it's an alternative to leet code in my brain. Of like, you want to practice solving interesting programmatic problems. Here's a way to do that that isn't so soul crushing. Shem, my message was just a gentle reminder that that's the reality for some people. Yeah. And my goal here is definitely not to make light of the, like, lives of different people with different levels of ability. And definitely my idea here is not to make light of ableism. But the idea is, how can we create interesting intellectual problems? I guess I should phrase it that way. How can we create interesting intellectual difficulty of making there, like, an interesting problem or challenge to be solved that can not just be solved by throwing another library and more processing power at it, which is the solution that I usually took to problems. Thank you, Shem. So that's code golfing. Again, you can learn more about that by going to that Stack Overflow, by going to the 19th byte, by doing all of these things. I think it's just like a fun little thing to mess around with. And then there's also retro tech, which is a thing that I've mentioned previously. Oh, 404, I just saw this. We could make an AI that helps them code faster. I just automatically went to how AI is an ideal way to help them a lot. This is also a thing that I want to talk about really briefly. Tangent alert. But there is... Disabled people are not like a token to be used to argue for existing technologies and for like corporate interests. And I say that specifically in there are going to be AI companies that are going to be talking about. I feel like this is a great example in AI art. AI art talks about democratizing art around like, but people can't make traditional art for a variety of reasons, and we'll just make AI do it, and that makes it more accessible. And the goal of that company is not to make things accessible, and they're using disabled people in that instance as like a defense or as an argument to justify their existing economic stance. So, specifically around AI, yeah, there are probably systems and AI tools that can make the lives of different people a lot easier. And also, most AI tools, if not all AI tools backed by companies right now, are designed to create profit at the expense of the people who create and sort the training data. So I just want to add that caveat that, like, in my opinion, the best solutions to problems facing many different groups of people come from people who are either like deeply connected to that group or from that group itself. And you can Google, like, there are tons and tons of really amazing things in accessible technology. A great example is
Thank you, Dimmer.
Thank you for bringing this up, Shem, because yeah, I was not meaning to make light of this, and I want to make sure that I clarify that. Let's talk briefly about the Xbox Adaptive Controller, which you'll notice looks a lot different from a usual controller, and has all of these ports along the back. And the point of this controller is to allow people to build their own systems that work with their own needs to be able to interface with an Xbox. So you can plug in different controllers, pads, pedals, tools, and you can create your own system. So this person has a button that's by their head. They have what looks like 2 different joysticks. They have a bunch of different buttons laid out here. This is designed for people to be able to build their own systems to interact with things. And it has gotten a lot of backing, and I think it is incredibly cool. And it is tools like this that are like allowing people to build systems for themselves. And instead of just saying like, hey, let's let an AI do it, allowing tools that allow people to interface with existing technology easier and in a way that is accessible to them is what I think is really important. So I just want to highlight things like this. That like already exists. And if you're really interested in this, there are whole fields of research and there are really active communities around this. And it is a thing that is already there. And you'll notice that they are like partnering with communities and groups and people to make this actually like serve the people that they are trying to serve, rather than, again, using disabled people as like a marketing gimmick, which is bad for a variety of reasons. And that's an understatement. Thanks for the follow, Emily H. Damodar and leader of Meow. So I just wanted to highlight this. End of tangent alert. So that's code golfing. Again, an alternative to things like leak code, where if you just want to like exercise your brain solving small problems, definitely check it out. Not for everyone, but it is an interesting thing at least to know about, and I found it very fun. Then there's also retro tech, which is a thing that we have talked about before. And it is, in essence, a different way of thinking about problems because it is a different set of restrictions. 404, what did occur to my brain was using AI with gesture recognition and speech recognition systems that already exist to be able to accelerate their coding. Yes, and those systems do exist. I don't remember when. I saw a talk that was by I believe, Microsoft developer who developed carpal tunnel and could no longer type. And they worked with, I believe at the time it was Dragon Naturally Speaking, which is a really old company that did speech to text to specifically create something for Scala, I believe was the language that they were writing in. So that sort of stuff has been done before. And again, it was created like with a specific person and a specific use case in mind, rather than just being like a throw AI at the problem. So again, a good impulse to be like, oh, this is a thing that technology can theoretically help with, and also technology can't solve society's problems. I've mentioned that before. It's a thing that I really like to bring up in computer science spaces, that you can't create an app to solve world hunger, and you can't use AI to solve accessibility difficulties. You need like intentional and meaningful design with the input of people in the community that you're trying to help. And this is where getting some people who are like disability scholars and like designers on board is really useful, rather than just being like AI. Not 404 to specifically be calling you out here. It is a thing that I see all of the time. One of my roommates is actually a disability scholar, and they are like, yeah, anyway, they have a PhD in this sort of thing. So, okay, taking a step back, retro tech is a way of having us face a different series of problems. Whereas now, at least when I was doing hackathon projects, oftentimes the problems that I were encountering was like, oh, how can I allow these two different systems to mesh together? Whereas it can be really fun to have a different set of problems, which is, ooh, how can I create something really cool and interesting in this limited space? And I think the best example is in game development. And retro game development is the easiest to talk about here, but it still happens now to a certain extent, of trying to squeeze all the power and capabilities you can out of a game console, where the hardware is set, and it will be like that for 6, 7, 8 years. And you are trying to create the best, coolest games that you can with that. And there are tons and tons of hacks that developers learn over the course of a game console, which is why game quality, looks, vibes, all of those things usually increases throughout the life of the console as developers are better able to utilize it. This is specifically the best example that I can think of off the top of my head is the N64 was, compared to like the PS1, a fairly underpowered console, and that is an understatement, I believe. And thus, developers created systems in order to get more performance out of it that makes it very hard to emulate now. Where if you emulate the broad strokes of the console, you can get most games to run. But a game like, I believe Firefox? No, that's the browser. Star Fox. A game like Star Fox is really difficult to emulate, or at least was. I'm pretty sure they solved it now because of all the tricks that they needed to do to make such a groundbreaking game run on the system. Atari is also a great example of a very underpowered console that did some really cool things. So, y'all have heard me talk about this before. If you are interested in game development, and this sounds interesting, there is something called the Pico 8 Fantasy Console, which again, y'all have heard me talk about this, but let's see if I can hit play on this. How loud is this? That was incredibly loud. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay. So, I'm realizing that I don't have a controller plugged in and I don't know the keyboard mapping. Okay. This is a game that is a modern game that looks like, oh yeah, it's just like modern retro. Like, I've seen games like this before. Think like, oh, it's just another pixel art game like Shovel Knight. This is not. This is running on... This music is still too loud. Okay, there we go. That's slightly better. This is running on simulated, what I will call like antiquated hardware, where this is designed to recreate some of the challenges of, oh, I have a tongue, of systems like this. So, if I pause this and we scroll down, Pico 8 is a fantasy console for making, sharing, and playing tiny games with other computer programmers. It feels like a regular console, but it runs on Windows, Linux, and Mac. Whoa, something is happening here. It's not a dimmer stream without my mouse constantly dying throughout. Okay. When you turn it on, the machine greets you with a command line, a suite of cartridge creation tools, and an online cartridge browser called Xplore. And there are tons of creative tools and things that people have made, and it has its own game jams built around it, and it is incredibly cool. Those of you who have heard me talk about this before have heard me talk ad nauseum about how the first Celeste game was a Pico 8 platformer that was made for a Pico 8 game jam. And for those of you who don't know about Celeste, Celeste is a literally award-winning platformer game that was designed originally for the Pico 8 console. and then was developed into a fully fledged game. And you can play this version of Celeste inside of the game like itself. You can find like a small computer or console somewhere and play this version, which you'll see that I am bad at Celeste. There we go. Hey, there we go. Yes, I can drop this link in chat. So this is an example of an incredible game that, yes, was originally made for Pico 8 in a game jam. And then you can see we are reimagining Celeste as a full release for PC. And it's just Celeste Classic. So yeah, this is an incredible, and I'm like pretty sure award-winning game that was built for the Pico 8 microconsole. So this is an example of how building on retro tech can create really amazing things because you have unique restrictions. There's also Pico CAD, which is a thing that I think is extremely cool, where it is a tiny modeler for tiny models. Pico CAD is a program to build and texture low poly 3D models. Where many programs for modeling and texturing are bloated and overly complicated, Pico CAD aims to make it fun, easy, and accessible by focusing on the bare essentials. It's built on the Pico 8 platform and comes rich with constraints. Again, rich with constraints, this idea of it can be more fun to being able to create things when you have constraints. And I've seen, again, like just beautiful things built within it. And look at that. This is like charming and beautiful and is built around this whole idea. So this concept of adding restraints specifically in retro tech as a way of thinking about that can be really cool. And Pico 8 is a fantasy console. But if you have, I believe on this shelf, yes, I have a DS Lite right here. If I wanted to, I could totally find, let me see. I saw someone at one point say that they made a Game Boy game. I haven't been keeping up with chat. I'll check in chat in a minute. There's an article making DS games in 2020. And wouldn't it be cool to make a DS game, or a 3DS game, or a Game Boy game, or anything that you want? DS, or some of these might be hard, because again, they're developed before the age of like Unity and things like that. So, but I'm sure there are resources out there. I didn't look into this. I just thought of this while we were talking, that you can like do something like the Pico 8, which is a retro console, or you can literally write something for the NES, which, there was some game that was originally made for the NES. Like a modern game that was originally made on the NES that they then ported over to modern consoles. Is my focus out of whack? I'm a little soft. There we go. Okay. So yes, this is a really cool thing, and we'll talk more about, if you aren't into game design, other ways that you can do this. Let me scroll back here. Leader of Meow said, yeah, it was actually fun. I don't remember what they were referring to when they said that, but I just want to say that was their first time chatting. I want to say, hey, glad you're here. Glad you're chatting. I always love seeing new chatters. Shem, there's a lot of ways people are able to make their worlds better for them. This is a real example of how to create and be creative with restrictions. Yeah. Again, disability studies is a really interesting field of study that I could talk for hours and hours. And I'm not even that experienced in it. Again, I just have a roommate who has like a PhD in this, who I talk to about it. They're more of a disability scholar, but adjacent. Long live emulation. Jeebatib. Hi, everyone. Good evening from Lagos. Hello, hello. Frogger was the OG by Shem. 404, I absolutely love the Pico 8. There was a Birds with Guns game that I loved. I dropped the Celeste link. 404, I'm having flashbacks to when I found out Twilio was also made in a hackathon. I mean, yeah, I'm blanking on, there was another thing that I found out was made in a hackathon that just blew me away. I'm blanking on what it was. Oh, I just remember texting my brother about it, being like, wait, what? This thing was made in a hackathon? It's fairly common. Hey, Adam. Guten Tag indeed. Welcome. So yeah, that is the Pico 8 micro console. Highly recommend messing around with it if you're interested in game development and that sounds like fun. I also was just like brainstorming a couple ideas of like, wouldn't it be fun if you made a portfolio website that was entirely Web 1? So like you made a restriction to yourself that you like only write it in like original HTML or like XHTML. Adam, me goes to Germany for 4 days. Also me, Guten Tag, Guten Tag, Guten Tag. Very fun. What if you were to create like an original Web 1 website or like deliberately just like go back in time with your technology and see what that feels like and see what you can create that's cool. Rome was not built in a day, it was built in a hackathon, but I appreciate that. There's also like a fun thing there of just like trying to capture the vibe of something that happened in the past. So creating a portfolio website that captures like the GeoCities vibe, if you are interested in that, could be a fun, again, like a fun project that is a unique project because you are setting unique restrictions around yourself. This is an example here. Writing in assembly /4 graphing calculators. I had a friend in high school who I have not kept up with, but I'm going to see if I can find this project. What would this have been? 2020? No, not 2020. It's going to be 2019. But I am slightly horrified because I just looked at this and it was anyway, let me try finding. Oh God, the fastest way of doing this. Okay. I'm scrolling through all of the hackathons that I've submitted projects to, trying to find Grizz Hacks 4. Here we go. It's just always weird scrolling back through my hackathon portfolio. Okay. I'm going to drop this link in chat. This, again, this is pre-COVID. So there isn't a demo video. But this is a version of Tetris. Let me share my screen. That was written in assembly. Or in Easy 80. Wait, Easy 80. Okay, yes. That is a form of assembly. For the TI-84 graphing calculator, or specifically the TI-84 CE, the color edition, that I had a friend who was obsessed with writing an assembly for graphing calculators. And this is a game that he made during the hackathon, and he talked about all the different like glitches that he had. This is, again, not a super like developed post, because again, this was pre-COVID. So this is before these posts had like all of the information about the project for judging. But a cool idea. Of like, he again spent so much time writing assembly for a graphing calculator, which obviously underpowered, but he made it do incredible and cool things, and he had so much fun with it. So I just want to like mention that this, like an example of something like that, as a way of using retro or underpowered tech and trying to do weird things with it. We also talked before about the idea of creating a BBS or a bulletin board system, because there are still tools to do that. Let me... I have a link. So many games written for the TI-84. Yeah, if you are interested in this and you have an old TI-84 kicking around, I'm going to drop a link in chat. There is a wiki for teaching you how to write in TI Basic, which is, as you can tell, quite old, but it has a whole bunch of, let's take a look at Snake here. A whole bunch of example programs. And theoretically, they were supposed to be annotated. Yeah, presented with source codes and an explanation, but not really a whole lot of explanation here. But examples of what you can do. I think that all of these might be some of these might be ASCII. Some of them are done using graphing. Some of them are done using lower level things. But there's a whole lot of stuff here, which is interesting as like a fun little challenge to, like, I don't know, again, try something different. So that's that. Okay, it is 2, and I need to drink more water. So we are going to take a 5-minute bio break, let people take care of themselves, and then we are going to be back in 5 minutes. This is a thing that I often do on my streams because I know that a lot of y'all go back to back from stream to stream. Adam, you missed the exclamation point. So I want to make sure you take care of yourselves, and also I need to make sure that I take care of myself. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to switch to what would be a good... Ooh, okay. I couldn't remember how to activate it. Yeah, exclamation point TTS.
Sippy sippy.
Sippy sippy. I'm gonna... Okay. The count... That song Count What You Have Now is exactly 5 minutes long. So I'm going to switch to the countdown screen, and I'm going to hit play, and we will be back in 5 minutes.
Meow.
2, 3, and
Slurp if you will.
count what you have now. Don't count what you don't have. Count what you have now. Don't count what you don't have. Find that you have so much.
What a tune.
頑張りすぎる自分に疲れてふと泣けてきた真夜中のバスルームでまだ手にしたことのない幸せがどこかにある気がして焦るのは年のせい あるものさし自分の心の中にあるのさ足りないもの数えるくらいなら足りてるもの数えてごらんよ Count what you have now Don't count what you don't have Can't you see, can't you see have now Don't count what you don't have You can't have so much You can't find Can't you see, can't you see have now Don't count what you don't have You can't have so much
We're back. Hello, hello. Let me switch back to our lo-fi. Our loud lo-fi. Okay, there we go.
That song ended on point.
I know. It was exactly 5 minutes. So it was perfect for taking a 5-minute break.
Hello there.
Hello, hello. So, I think what we move on to now is I've talked about a lot of the ideas that I have and the things that I want to share for I'm no longer wasting points. I need the Rickroll. That is, you have a lot of responsibility in your hands to do you... I just saw the rewards that are existing around emotes make absolutely zero sense to me based on how MLH actually uses emotes. But just saw those again and always get confused. I know that they're like the default for Twitch. Like the existence of highlight my message. Anyway, yeah. You have a lot of responsibility considering that metal pipe is on right now, which I know is the way that I've gotten you in the past of getting you to spend a lot of metal pipe sounds. So, ooh. Shem has enough for another Rickroll. Well, I do want to say that I do explicitly give permission if someone wants to do a Rickroll then I'm not in the middle of something it would not be disruptive. And also, you can always surprise me with a Rickroll and I will roll with it. By turning on Rickroll, I am choosing to allow Rickrolls. Hello there, no points. Ah, that is a mood. It's exclamation point TTS if you want that to be read out loud.
Last thanks, Shem.
We're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I.
And just like that, we're back. Thank you, Shem, for saving up your points and treating all of chat for that. I know that a lot of people were saying thank
That was
you, but
fun.
I believe they were all grateful. It truly always is. Whenever we get to do that, it's a fun little break. And a reward for attending. I believe you get like around 1,000. How many channel points do you get per hour? Between 320 and 640. So, in essence, I believe Shem and all of y'all get 10 channel points every 5 minutes. Plus it, yeah. So at max 650 an hour, which is 38 hours of watching stream to do that. So truly some dedication there. Thank you, Shem, for both attending all of these streams and being an active participant. It's always lovely. And also for treating all of chat to that little dance break. With that, we move on to... I would just like to scroll back up. And... at... what time is this? Oh, I don't even know. Quote, 404 not found. I'm no longer wasting points. I need to rickroll. And then immediately, a metal pipe. I know that I will never get a rickroll from 404. That is a challenge. Because the metal pipe sounds are too what's that word? Enticing. You just wasted 5,000 points for a 2-second sound. And also, I'm desensitized to it at this point. It was very good when you started, because I just added it to the stream, and every single time it was just breaking me. I was just like, ah! But at this point, I'm just like, oh yeah, that sound. In my defense, it was extremely funny. I mean, yes, I do agree. Actually, let us... I'm gonna put a poll up. I'm giving y'all two options here. Because I have talked about the things that I wanted to talk about. And you have two options of what to do next. One, we can go along with the stream plan, what I was expecting. And we can talk about what, like, ideas for unique restrictions that you think would create unique projects. And you can learn from each other and talk about what you want to do. Or two, we could pursue this path that we have started falling down around all of the weird things that are on this stream setup. And we can pursue that further. To vote, you type either a 1 in chat to vote for the first option, or a 2 in chat to vote for the second option. I would also like y'all who have not seen this before, I would like to introduce y'all to the Goose. The Goose has not been on stream in a while, but the Goose is a friend who lives on stream sometimes and walks around my screen, and if I click on the Goose, they steal my cursor and run away with it. They can make tracks along the screen, and they can bring out memes. While we are letting this poll go, I'm gonna let the Goose hang out for a bit. This is why we have so many Goose emotes in 7TV, is because the Goose was an extremely popular addition to the stream that we have not had on in a while. We have around 25 people watching, I believe. So I'm going to wait a little bit longer. Give people more time to vote. And I think this is not going to be a binary thing. I'm just looking to see what y'all are looking for. And we will spend some time brainstorming challenges, because some people want that, and that is the name of the stream. And then at the end, I'm going to give y'all the treat of thinking about new sounds to add, and if we want to replace any of the ones that we have existing already. And any other uses that y'all would want for channel points, including smaller channel point rewards. So yeah, I think what we're going to do is I'm going to give this a little bit longer. Oh, also, if I close one of these, the goose gets mad and yoinks my mouse cursor. Okay. We're going to goodbye goose. How do I turn off the goose? Oh no. How do I turn off the goose? I have become hoisted upon mine own petard. Because when I used to do the goose, I had a stream deck set up that was designed for the goose. So it had a button to turn on the goose and a button to say goodbye to the goose. And this time I just opened up manually. And I don't remember how to, go to Task Manager. I do think that will need to be the solution. Correct me if I'm wrong. There is no goose listed here. Okay. So, someone asked where can I find the goose? We're going to find the goose and we're going to find the goose's instructions. We're going to finish out the poll. 5-2. Okay. I didn't mean for this to be a distraction, but you can just search for desktop goose. And this is the one that I have downloaded, which is for macOS.
Let's start messing with the goose. Let's leave dimmer for some time.
How? Desktop goose, okay. Read me. Here we go, okay. Double click the app to open.
Command plus Shift plus Escape.
So I did that. No goose. I just need to open it again. Ah, here we go, okay. And now I can quit. There we go. Okay. Didn't mean for that distraction, but let's start by, as the people said in this not quite democracy, oh my goodness, I missed so much in chat. We are going to brainstorm interesting restrictions that can create unique problems based on y'all's ideas, because I've given you mine. And then in the last 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to do two things. One, I'm going to try to better implement things that you can do with channel points that aren't just spending them on stream. There are plenty of robust mini games that you can play in chat using channel points, which might allow 404 to be able to maybe win some more channel points, and also possibly look into an easier way for me to do channel point predictions on stream for a little bit of fun there. Those two things, and then if we have time, we're going to talk about different things that you would want channel points to do, and we're going to brainstorm there. But first, we need to eat our vegetables, which I need to actually do the thing that I said that I would stream for MLH. So, in this case, we are going to brainstorm unique restrictions that could create unique problems. So, those of you who've been to one of my streams before know the deal. I open up Visual Studio Code, I open up a markdown file, and this time we aren't going to be doing any polling, because we're just looking to create a list. But here we go. It is going to be called Restrictions Ideas. Great. We have this markdown file. I love how much 404, they just love the metal pipe. Okay, so if you have ideas for interesting restrictions that can create unique problems, just like when we talked about Pico 8, just like we talked about code golfing, feel free to drop them in chat and I will add them to here. While y'all do that, I will go back. Thank you, think first. I appreciate that. Okay. Okay. So we have from 404 time restrictions, hackathons, game jams, etc. That makes a lot of sense. Implementing that in your own life can be fun. We have language restrictions. Like esoteric languages, like we talked about. Great. Under this, I'm going to also put just trying a new language, library, or tool each project as an idea of that each time you make a project, trying to learn something new. Not something you can always do, but something that could be interesting. We have hardware restrictions. Code in a really old, cranky PC. Now there, I'm specifically going to say hardware restrictions. And under this, I'm going to mention, I don't think writing on an old computer is that interesting because it just makes it harder for no appreciable reason. But what Phasic said, writing for 32-bit / older applications, I would say writing. Ooh, okay. Here's an idea. Writing projects for unique distribution methods. So, an example there would be fitting it all on a floppy disk. Or a infamous YouTube video
Yes.
that is called, Can You Fit a Whole Game into a QR Code?
Yes.
Which, throughout the course of this video, we see the process of developing
Dream lives on. I have a feeling if we
a snake game that you can download completely through scanning a QR code. So, the above QR code contains a complete Windows executable that will run on Windows 7 and up. It is a simple but fully playable implementation of Snake. So, something like this, of a unique storage medium, creates unique challenges. Sorry. I often struggle to both try thinking of things myself and read chat at the same time. Communication restrictions, as in work with a team to create a project where you make part of it and pass it off to a different person. I've seen that around YouTube as well. I think that's a little bit harder in this case, because while it is fun and definitely interesting, and definitely if you want to try that, you can, it's not necessarily something that you have complete control over yourself. This is more for like, you are like looking to just like write some code in one night. Compile restrictions, no light, you write the code but cannot run it or compile it or test it beforehand. Again, that's fun in a community setting, but not super fun as an individual, because then you're just basically saying like, I can't run my code. Can also be applicable to older IoT devices. Oh, so I'm going to adapt that slightly, which is like making things that aren't supposed to work together work together. So an example here would be to like make a like ceiling fan controlled by Twitter comments, which would have been a thing before the Twitter API and all. But like back when Twitter was like a good like Web 2 protocol. In this case, it might be Twitch chat or anything, like just making some stuff that shouldn't work together. Often, I think it's very fun to merge real world and internet spaces. In hardware restrictions, fitting color schemes into 8/16-bit. If you are more of a designer, that could be interesting, where you are trying to fit within old technical specifications. What else is there? Doing a big think. A lot of maker hardware. Yes, that's a great example. Shemari, oops, got distracted by something else. Sorry, you do not need to apologize for that, as evidenced by how many tangents happen on my streams and how many times I go, wait, I was trying to read chat and think at the same time and I couldn't do both. That's a big mood. Okay, here's a fun challenge. Write an entire project only using code from Stack Overflow. Now, the point here is not necessarily for you to get good at writing your own code, but this would be really good practice for the times where you need to Google something and you need to look at all the code that's out there and see what you could and should use. In this case, it would be cool to be trying to do something and you can only use code that people have already written. In this case, I'm saying Stack Overflow because it is iconic, but you could do the same thing with only using code that is in existing projects on GitHub and things like that. And basically make a code collage. Maybe like getting old technologies to work with new technologies. Yeah, that fits under making things that aren't supposed to work together. So an example here would be like adding IRC to Discord. So adding or creating a Discord bot for your Discord server where people can interact using IRC would be very fun. Feel free to drop any other ideas in chat. I don't really have any at this point. I'm kind of a little tapped out. I'm just quickly going to look something up. For making a okay, Shem, I have an old card catalog in my living room. It would be cool to program it to do something. Ooh, I like that. Using a card catalog as an input device. Or an output device. An analog object. This would be wonderful if you had like a Wiimote that you could do motion controls on to control your smart home. For making a project but like a D&D campaign, as in each idea and implementation requires a dice roll, and the outcome of that dice decides how well it goes. Now that's truly outlandish. The thing I'm going to take there is I've seen this idea in music production, where when you are like running out of ideas, just like setting like notes to dice and things like that, where you roll dice and you let things randomly happen and you see where you go from there. In this case, you like create a list of tools you can use, and then for each problem, you choose one randomly. So, you encounter a problem, you roll your dice, you get a nat 1. Oh no, I need to write this in, I don't know, if I were needing to do something and I needed to add an extra page to my website and I needed to write in Angular, that would be a nat 1 technology for me. Writing for a small platform like Raspberry Pi, Arduino, Jetson Nano, etc. Yeah, that I think falls under writing for maker hardware, where like if you want to write for that, it's not super hard anymore, but it is definitely like a path to go down. Nat 1, the most optimal path. Nat 20, the easiest. Pre-made libraries. Yes. That sort of vibe. I think I'm about to do something that does not make any sense. Oh god, Twitch. What is happening with Twitch? really unwieldy. Okay. Okay. I'm going to give us another like 3 minutes-ish if you have any ideas. And then we're going to transition over to stream chaos modding. You can always tell when I'm doing things on other monitors because the way I do window management on macOS is by... I don't know what that's called, but I hope my sound effects are expressing how I do that and what you're seeing. Actually, it seems like we're fairly out of steam, which is understandable. I know I have run out of ideas. So I am going to, like, this is going to be up, this is going to be in the recording, that sort of thing. Lightsaber. That is, I was kind of making lightsaber noises. So if you want to use any of these or any of the other ideas that we've talked about to add unique restrictions to help you create unique projects, feel free. With that, also, if you come up with any more ideas while I'm still live, feel free to drop them in chat and I'll add them to the list and we can talk about them. Star Wars called, they want their sound effects back. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Okay. With that, I am going to, so I'm thinking about adding a couple of things, which, let's see. Okay. Basically, I want to give people a way to earn channel points by doing something active rather than just by watching a stream. Ooh, I'm going to buy a rotary phone and do something like an embedded cell phone in it. That would be really cool. That ties into what we were talking about before of using an analog object as an input or output device. True, this is a tangent alert, but it is a tangent that we have previously discussed. So I don't think it necessarily needs the whole alert. You had warning going into this. Oh, no, make a tangent alert as a stream setup with sirens and all. Ah, I understand what you're saying now. Okay, that's cool. I'm currently looking at if there's a simple way. What? Tangent alert banner. Okay, so like a banner, a siren sound effect. I'm thinking like a breaking news banner, a siren sound effect. And maybe we could do a recording of me saying tangent alert. Ah ha 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 ha. Okay, okay, okay. An idea for making digital experiences more tactile, from online shopping to booking a hotel, just making it more tactile. Yeah, I don't know what you would do with that, but that is definitely something that would be cool if you could implement it. And maybe something like a red ambulance flashing siren on the top of your screen too. That sounds fun. I am going to... That didn't work. Oh, no, it did work. Okay. A bingo has begun for 100 points. You need to guess one of 77 7TV channel and global emotes. So, if you send a 7TV emote, you are submitting it for the bingo. And whoever chooses the correct one will get 100 channel points. This is a thing that apparently I just needed to flip a switch to enable and then type this command. This might work better in streams with a lot of people, because with 77 emotes. Well, that will just be running in the background. And at some point, someone is going to get 100 channel points for using the correct emote. So I think the key to this is not making it a specific short-term thing, but I can set this at the beginning of a stream for 1,000 or 2,000 channel points, and then someone at some point is going to get those channel points. And I can set it for Twitch emotes, I can set it for 7TV emotes. That is just a good way of adding more emotes, rewarding people for interactivity. I also want to see if there are some other things. Oh my goodness. So 404, those are Twitch emotes rather than 7TV
Emoji spam.
emotes. Theoretically. Okay, 404. Hopefully, that should work. Oh wait, that's just the module, not the command. One sec. Theoretically, that duel would basically do a coin flip, and one person would win those channel points from the other. So there's cancel duel and duel. Okay, those are both enabled. So theoretically, that should. Oh, dang. Okay, so I'm supposed to have infinite channel points, but I don't. This only works between users, so I'll need to go into my mod user, 404. This will have real stakes. Okay, we'll do 1K. Oof, indeed. Okay, let me try this. Duel. 404 for 100. I do not have 0 points. Excuse me. I have 5.8k points.
Oof.
Is this not for channel points? Appropriate laugh track moment. Okay. If I do this, add points, all 1,000.
Good job.
I've added 1,000 points to everyone, but I don't know if those are channel points or not. So I want y'all to tell me if your channel points increased. Hello, hello. Doesn't seem like it. Nope. Dang. Okay. I'm going to keep Googling this because there's a whole bunch of point interaction here that is already written. Streaming tools. Oh, I didn't hear that bonk either. Let me refund you for that. You should have your points back from that failed bonk. Oh, dang. So the points from bingo are weird fake stream elements points, not Twitch channel points. This is more complicated than I thought. I thought it'd be as easy as clicking that, and then y'all could do fun things with channel points.
Imposter.
Sorry. Because, yeah, that's why no one had any points. Can one person donate their points? So, with, like, fake non-Twitch points, yes. How to add... Rickroll. So yeah, Rickroll's already been redeemed. So that's what I want. You'd probably have to use... No, theoretically, you shouldn't... Whoa. So here's the thing. I don't know what you're trying to do with the 3-2-1. So I have, as a streamer, no control over Twitch channel point rewards because they are designed to be super locked down on Twitch's end and only ever given by Twitch so that they can be used for things like redeem 20,000 channel points for a 20% off coupon, which if I could just give away channel points would invalidate that, which is sad and boring because it would be really cool if I could do more interesting things with it. So in order to add more functionality, I would need to look into revamping the channel point system. The streamer cannot give channel points. I have no actual control over them. You can only gain them from watching. Twitch has a really strict lockdown around it. So what I would need to do is I would need to replace Twitch channel points with Stream Elements points, which you can check by doing !points and then someone's username. So in this case, !points and then 404. And we can see that I gave 404 1,000 points. But that's entirely separate from Twitch channel points. And it would require people to learn a whole new set of chat commands to be able to figure out all of those things that are happening. And I don't know if that's worth it or not.
404 got rich.
I mean, I gave you those 1,000 channel points just like 20 minutes ago. But we can do interesting things like duel. I'm dueling you for that 1,000. You can either accept or deny. And I stole your channel points. Ha 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 ha. Get wrecked. Oh, dang. Stream Elements is not showing up here. Anyway, so you can do cool things like that, which is super fun. But you can't do that.
To rag so quick.
I mean, yeah. So I have so much more control, and that would be what bingo would be for, and all of these different things. And I think that's really fun. But again, Twitch channel points are so easily integrated that it is a really interesting question of, like... So I could create a community challenge for Rickroll. Okay. I will think about this more. And I will come back to y'all with more. And I think next month we're going to be doing a couple of streams probably on adding more functionality to this, including what we talked about with that tangent alert that y'all can activate with channel point rewards of some kind. This is just such a difficult thing to... I wish Twitch didn't have such strong control over Twitch channel points, because they're really nicely integrated into the UI and also fairly restrictive in what they can actually be used for. So you can gamble channel points on channel like predictions, but those just take from one user and give it to another. Uh, 404, if you're looking to say, Dimmer, what do you think of giving me a few 100,000 points? No thanks. I don't want to ruin this economy before I even create it. Or folks could have patience. I just redeemed 2 Rickrolls in the past 2 global hack weeks. Come on, folks. I mean, yes. I entirely agree that the system that we currently have for channel points is, I think, well balanced. And also, it would be cool if you could do more things with them. So I will think about this. With that being said, we're almost at the end of our time here. And this is my last stream for this global hack week. So I will probably be back next month. I'm like 99% sure that I will be. But I will not be here anymore this week. So this was how unique projects, how unique restrictions create unique projects. Coming up after this at 3 p.m. Eastern time, so in 3
Thanks for
minutes.
another great stream, Dimmer and everyone.
Oh yeah, this was a pleasure. This was super fun getting to
will really
brainstorm
miss
all those
ya, Dimmer.
ideas with y'all. Coming up right after this at 3 p.m. is a Tetris mini event that's going to be happening in Discord. If you've not joined the Discord, discord.mlh.io is how you join that Discord. Definitely enjoy y'all hanging out, playing some Tetris. I will probably, if not definitely, see y'all next month, and I will try thinking about this more and coming up with some fun solutions.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. This was super fun. We had a great active chat today. I always love to see that. That always makes streaming a lot more fun. Yeah. With that, I think it is time for me to say goodbye. So, happy hacking, y'all. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next month. Stick around for Tetris and Discord, though. Until next time, though, happy hacking.